All right, and we're live. I think we're live. Hope we're live. I think we're live. What is going on, everybody? Good afternoon, good morning for those of you on the West Coast or somewhere else in the world, maybe good evening even. Hope you all are excited for today as much as I am to dive into the virtual fix and flip formula. And for those of you that have not been on one of these before, maybe don't know who I am, my name is Douglas J. Beck. I'm the admin for this group. I'm also the owner of JDL Ventures and the head coach for the Growth Collective, which is a private coaching and mastermind group that some of you know about. And I'm here today to train you all and share some stories on the process to virtually fix and flip homes from wherever to wherever, essentially. And so I'm excited to share some stories with you as I explain this and kind of give you the process. I'm going to give you a lot of details, down to the detail of some of the system, if you would, and the process to follow to do this effectively and to do it well and to make money doing it. And also share some stories maybe where you got to be careful to where we've made some mistakes in the past and things you have to watch out for when you're going and actually executing this process. As you can probably tell, I did put in a comment on the live feed that's pinned to the comments, which is if you're interested in having a discussion separately from this meeting, this conversation, if anything resonates with you, if you're looking to further the discussion, feel free to DM me the word flip. Some of you have commented that on my post, actually, that's inside the group as well, but feel free to DM that to me. That will let me know that you're interested in having a discussion further, one-to-one with myself or someone from my office to take this conversation into a conversation with you directly, one-to-one. Okay, so let's just do a quick roll call here. Who's here, who's on, where are you from, and what are you looking to get done today? What are you looking to learn and understand today? I see Jana's on. What's up, Jana? How you doing? I'm going to go ahead and see if I can do this right. I see JR. What's going on? How you doing? Appreciate you being here. Yeah, you know, the beautiful thing with Facebook Live is that you could just watch. You could probably get some closed captions maybe if it does a good job and understand without actually listening to the audio. So maybe some of you are at the office right now, or some of you are running some errands, you are running around doing different things for your business or for your life, and you can listen in and kind of capture this information. Hopefully some of you are in a place where you can take down some notes. Like I said, I'm going to give you some websites, some different processes to consider, and just some steps to follow to go out there and execute this process, do it effectively. I see Tom. What's going on, Tom? And Johnny from El Paso. Jana, I see you there. Josh, how you doing? Yeah, be sure to share your location, and even if you want to include maybe what you're focusing on, feel free to put that into the comments. I'm trying to not make it too promotional, just talk about kind of like what your main goals are as a real estate investor, or if you're looking to get into real estate investing, share that as well. And feel free to share any details about maybe some of your challenges or some of your questions might be for today. We'll come back around and check those out in a little bit. I see Bridget, sorry, and or maybe Bridget, I'm not sure how to say that correctly. I apologize. I think it's Bridget maybe. And Dan, what's going on, Dan? How you doing? Cool. So, all right. Well, I think we're already kind of starting a few minutes past there, so I don't want to keep you guys waiting too long. I'm just looking through on my other screen here, just to kind of give you guys the context. So I think it's important to mention, if you didn't hear last week's or week before, you know, we've kind of had a series here in these lives, right, where the presentation I gave a couple weeks ago was really around, you know, how I got started as a real estate investor, kind of my journey before real estate, where I worked in corporate and got into real estate on the side as a wholesale real estate investor. And then from there kind of grew into becoming a fix and flip investor, and ultimately then from there going and doing other things. I started a title insurance company. Investors First Title, for example, is our title insurance company. You can see right here on my shirt. And so if you're looking for investor-friendly title, so to speak, as far as understanding how to do assignments of contract, how to handle double closes, how to handle complicated transactions with different types of creative financing, definitely shout us out, investorsfirsttitle.com. My business partner, Ken McCarthy, is out there hopefully hearing me talk now, or maybe you'll hear the replay. He's been in the business for quite a while, done literally thousands and thousands of closings. Some of you guys know him. And ultimately here to just share my story. So like I said, you know, a couple weeks ago, I started off sharing kind of how I got started as a real estate investor, and then I kind of talked about my first deal last week. So some of you guys might have heard that. If anyone was there, feel free to let us know, and maybe some action you might have taken since last week about what you did, knowing that you could leverage relationships and leverage your network to ultimately create profit and create connections that will help you, you know, become a real estate investor by just basically bringing together different people that already have what you ultimately want to, you know, put together. So as far as having a deal and then having somebody else that has the interest in investing. Today we're going to kind of talk about the bridge of what I realized when I realized that I didn't just have to be a wholesale real estate investor. I'm going to share a story about how a gentleman approached me, and I didn't know who he was, and I'm going to kind of keep him anonymous for today because I don't have his permission to share the details. But he came to me and said, "Hey, I've got a lot of experience in construction. I've got the interest to do a fixing and flipping. and I want to get things going. What do you think about possibly working together and having you bring together, Doug, the deals, and maybe even help us source some of the capital partners that could be fit a deal to help actually bring this all together and run a project together. I'm not sure why there's static on the line. If someone's saying there's static, it's on an external microphone, so I can't really control that too much, unfortunately. I'll do my best to make it. Let's see if I can change something here. It's an external mic. It shouldn't have static. I'm not sure why there's static. Let me check one thing. Is that any better or worse? I see Violet there. Violet, can you hear that? Is that any better or worse? I don't know if it makes a difference. I just lowered the gain. Maybe that's better. I'm not sure. Can you still hear me? I'm going to pause on that note just to make sure it's a little better. Okay. Let's turn it down even more. Who knows? Let's see if I can change the setting. All right, I'm going tech now. You gotta give me a second here. Hold on one sec. Yeah, I don't know why there's static on the line. That's odd. Let's see. Settings. We're still going here. Let's see if I can fix something. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I'm going to do my best to fix it. It doesn't let me modify anything on the view that I have right now, but hopefully it improves. Okay. Let me lower this a little bit more just to make sure. And what I'll do is I'll even move the microphone away from the computer. Maybe it's got an issue with the computer. Maybe that's a little better. Let's see. I'll just talk a little louder to make sure. We'll turn the gain down at this microphone right here. I'm not going to do anything else here. Hopefully, Les, I see you there as well. Thank you for letting us know. Deborah says a little better. Thompson, a little better, but now your voice is low. I'm just going to do a little louder talking. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I'm going to keep the microphone right where it's at. Look, Ma, no hands. I'm not going to touch anything. I'm just going to leave it be. If that's okay with everybody, and we'll do our best. So we'll get that sorted out maybe next week if it doesn't improve. Awesome. Yeah, quick reminder, we're doing these every Friday at 1 p.m. So maybe mark that down in your calendar if you're catching this right now live. And if you're also looking to be here with us every week, we have a consistency of Fridays at 1 p.m. So make sure you mark that down in your calendar, make the space. If you're getting value, I really appreciate you being here. If you could share something in the group or share something on the chat, on the comments about what value you've gotten or what value you're getting, that'd be even better. Let us know you hear us, if you're getting value, you're getting benefit from this, okay? So as I was saying before, just to kind of recap what I mentioned, so started off as a real estate investor back in 2014, focused on wholesale real estate, right? So what does that really mean? It means sourcing deals and then bringing those deals with a contract in place to buy that property, bringing that contract basically and selling the rights to buy the property to another investor through the contract process, and then collecting either an assignment fee or possibly closing on the property and then selling the property to that investor right after I close on it myself. And so some people call that quick flip, and that's a great model. You can make $5,000, $10,000, $100,000. We actually, our biggest deal to date that we've been a part of, that I know about at least, that was done, was a $140,000 wholesale flip. And that was back in late last year, where we had a couple partners, myself and my company included, and ultimately was able to make a lot of money on that. But the guy or gal, whoever bought that deal, I heard through the grapevine that they actually flipped it to somebody else. But that's because there's value to be made there, right? And it's not that, that situation was solved, whatever the situation was. It was distressed real estate. The development that had to be done was a big project. Someone took it on. And that person, that individual, that company is going to make a lot of money from that process, from taking on the responsibility for the construction, which is kind of what I want to get into today as far as how we talk about construction fitting into the picture in real estate investment. So, and how you could benefit from just being connected to people like I was, that I didn't realize I was, to people that have construction experience. So the first 5 deals that you have, we're looking to talk about that today, how I bridged from wholesale to fix and flip without doing the construction, without bringing my own money, without having to touch the property, even go to the property. That's a pretty cool story that I want to share today. So that's something we're going to cover. I also want to talk about financing strategies as far as how you can source private money to a certain extent. We're not going to get into heavy detail on that today because we don't have enough time. But I'm going to give you the high-level view of what we did on those deals, how we sourced the capital and what that looked like. I'm going to get into the fact of how you run a renovation project, again, but from the perspective of someone that is not directly involved in construction every day, but things you should think about, even if you're just a partner, what's going on with that project, how do you make sure you maximize your profit? We actually have a whole training just on renovation management. So if anybody wants that training, if you hear me now live or on replay, and you want the renovation management training replay, it's not today's conversation. If you want that, just go ahead and put in renovation in the comments, renovation. That will let us know that you're interested in getting that training. There's a video that I did about 45 minutes long of the presentation that laid out all the steps to actually run a renovation successfully. And whether you do it locally or do it virtually, it's a different story. But that particular training we did probably about a year ago, maybe not even, about a year ago, actually, I think it was. Still very relevant, though. So if you want that training for free, just go ahead and put the comment renovation. We'll get in touch with you. We'll share with you the link, and then we'll also talk about some of that today. We're going to get into some of the apps and technology that I've used personally in my deals to do it virtually, right? To understand how do you run this like a business using technology, using process. We might even touch upon how I can help you do the same thing and actually do it for you, which might sound nuts, but we actually have a new done-for-you offer for our clients where we'll build out the marketing process, the marketing system, and the team to help you run renovation projects, to help you acquire real estate, to help you raise capital, without having to do as much work, without having to reach out to people. If you're interested in something like that, let me know. Shoot me a DM, or you could put a comment and put the letters DFY, done for you. DFY would be an indicator that you want to have a conversation about getting this done for you, right? And there's a whole process to that. But if you're a busy entrepreneur, if you're someone that's already doing real estate, or maybe you're working a full-time commitment and you don't have the time and you want to build a business, right, which I think is a lot of people here, and you want someone to help you do it for you, we have a solution for you. So just let us know about that. And if you want to learn how to, today we're going to talk about structuring deals so you all come out happy and that everybody that's involved in the transaction, is still happy and profitable, and we all win. We high five at the closing table on the sale, and we're all making money. We're all super excited. We're pumped to do this because we want to do it again and again and again. And then fast forward 50 deals later, 50 fix and flips later, here we are talking about that. I'm talking with you guys today with that kind of experience from just the first 5 that I did this way, which I'm going to talk about today here. And then now the final thought's going to be maybe some question and answer at the end of it. If you guys have questions, just put those towards the end if you don't mind, because I'm going to talk a lot today about the process and the systems. But ultimately, whether or not fix and flip would be appropriate for you, or maybe buy and hold would be more appropriate. Some of the things to consider with that. So that's a lot of content. You guys are ready for this? I hope you're ready for this. If you're ready, put the word ready. I'm ready. Let's go. Right? If you're ready for this, let me know. Let me know that you're ready to hear this. I'm going to shout you out in a second. So I see Stana is ready for done for you. Les is done for you. Deborah, done for you. A lot of folks want to do it for you, and I get that. It's efficient, right? Jana says renovation. She's looking for that training. Joe wants the renovation training. Awesome. Deborah also wants the renovation training. Excellent. You're ready. Let's go. Okay, Joe's ready too. So check it out. Taking you guys back to 2014 and then into 2015. So 2014, I'm working full-time at Johnson & Johnson, corporate IT and procurement. Al was ready too. I see him there, Al. What are you doing, Al? I see you there. Good seeing your name pop up. So I'm working corporate procurement and IT back in 2014. I'm not going to monitor the comments anymore, so just a heads up. I'm going to have to go free flow for now, and then we'll come back to it in a minute. And basically, I'm working this great job, so to speak. But they say the letters JOB stand for just over broke, right? So basically, just over broke. If anybody can relate with me, I know you know what I'm talking about. Like, you're making enough money to make ends meet, but you're not making enough to kind of feel like you actually have anything significant there, and you're also sacrificing your life every single day to go do this for somebody else, right? I'm pretty sure that resonates with somebody in the room here, maybe a lot of people. And so I'm working this full-time job, and with great benefits. And Johnson & Johnson is an amazing company, really great company, awesome. My dad worked there for over 40 years, and I worked there for almost a decade. But the fact was, it restricted my time freedom. It didn't allow me to be the full version of myself, the highest and best version of myself in a professional setting. I was being limited by what was available to me through that company. And so now it's like limitless. Like, you could create what you want as an entrepreneur. If you want to step out of that corporate matrix, you become an entrepreneur. Maybe you become an entrepreneur like many of you are in real estate investing, or you're looking to do that, okay? But I started off with the wholesale process. The wholesale process is the most simple system, if you would, of sourcing deals and then flipping those deals to make a spread in that deal by just literally bringing together the contract to the investor that takes over the contract. And ultimately, that's how we talked about last week, how my first deal that we ever did as a company back in August of 2014, after many months of struggles and trials and tribulations, spending a lot of money on mentorship, almost $30,000 on mentorship I spent. Invested, really, it wasn't a spend, it was an invest. I invested in myself. I invested in my commitment to my business. I invested in the fact that I knew it was going to pay off. It doesn't matter how long it's going to take to pay off. Hope you guys hear me on that. Hope some of you all have invested as well in your business and yourself and your commitment to yourself and your commitment to be successful. And sometimes more than $30,000 too, right? And with nothing really yet to show some of you, but it's okay. We're going to get there. That's why we're here, to help serve and support you. But ultimately, I did that 30K, and then I put out another 15 to 20 grand, and I didn't have anything to show for it. So I shared that story a couple weeks ago, I think, in more detail. But then finally figured something out with this concept of collaborative wholesale or joint venture wholesale, where I found an investor that had a deal, another real estate wholesale investor that had a deal, and he had the deal, but he didn't have the network. He didn't have the influence to disposition, as we call it, disposition that deal, but i.e. sell the deal, sell the opportunity to somebody else. Bring somebody who's an investor that's capable to close on this property, either renovate it and keep it, or renovate it and flip it, or just keep it as a rental, whatever they do. But find that individual. I found that individual. I went into contract with the investor in a joint venture, and then we essentially decided to go ahead and actually bring that to my network, and I did that, and we closed our first deal with a few hours worth of work, and I talked about that last week. I made almost $5,000 with a few hours, so that's pretty good dollars per hour. And then we did that, and we did that again and again and again. And we've done that over a couple hundred times at this point. Our biggest year was over 60 deals that we did, wholesale flip. Some companies out there do hundreds a year, so I'm not the biggest guy in the game, but I'm definitely out there trying to inspire others to get to their first one and get to the first 10 or 20 or 30, right? To do that consistently month after month to replace your income. How about replacing your full-time income with a part-time side business as a real estate wholesaler? That's what you can do, right? It's possible. I did it. After 18 months and about 25 deals we did, consistently, we did one or two a month, 5, 10, 15 grand per deal. The biggest deal to that point was about a $40,000 flip. And I realized I need to leave when I'm doing full-time. This isn't making sense. This isn't making sense to do this full-time stuff while I'm also building my wholesale real estate investment business. So after all those deals, after about 20 or so deals, I started having people say to me, listen, Doug, your company is getting deal flow. And this gentleman reached out to me and said, hey, listen, I'm a renovator. I want to do more fix and flip. Would you be open to, and this is the bridge over to how I got into the first fix and flip, the first 5 actually, and kudos to this gentleman. He knows who he is, and if he's here and he wants to shout himself out, by all means, I think he knows who he is. I just had a couple of text conversations recently. We're talking about a deal down here in Florida now. But the fact is, he reached out to me and said, let's get together. Let's meet up. Let's go to this country club that he's a part of. We met up. We sat down for lunch. Really awesome guy, super successful guy, has done major development work before. He said, the thing I need is I need deal flow. I need properties that we can fix up and flip. And he says, I also wouldn't mind having some help on the capital side. He's like, I can get capital, but if you want to help there too, you could obviously earn some additional profit share, bring some people together. He's like, let's do this together. So our first flip that we did was essentially, I'm going to give you the punchline. I'm going to tell you how we got there specifically. There was one investor that brought all the money. The other gentleman that I was connected with had done all the construction, and I more or less brought the deal. But I brought the deal, and I brought the gentleman that had the money, and then we formed a partnership. It was an equity deal. There was no debt. We decided to go into business together, the three of us, as three-way partners in this example. We formed an LLC. My company, the other gentleman that does the construction, and the other guy that had the capital formed the partnership. And then we went out there and we made that happen. That deal, that property, we fixed up and we sold it. We probably made about $20,000 or $30,000. It wasn't life-changing, but it was the start of something bigger. And guess what? As we were renovating that property, we picked up another property and another one. And these were actually in the tougher parts of New Jersey. If anyone knows, I'm sure some of my folks here, a lot of my folks are probably from New Jersey. No judgment, no disrespect whatsoever, nothing. But it is tougher to do business in some of these urban neighborhoods for a lot of different reasons. So like Newark and East Orange and Irvington, those are the areas that we started in because there was a lot of properties in disarray. And this is in 2015 we're talking about. That first deal we did was, I think, was it 2015 or was it even, yeah, it was 2015. I think it was probably the summertime or something like that of 2015, maybe towards the end of 2015. But either way, excuse me, the actual projects, the properties, right, were in the tougher neighborhoods where high crime, vandalism, really difficult things that we had to deal with. But we got them done. And I got to give a shout out to my partner who handled the construction, who handled the projects. It was a lot of work for him, and he didn't vocalize as much. I know he felt frustrated probably because of the challenges we had. We had multiple break-ins, people vandalizing the properties, stealing stuff, having to replace things, having to deal with challenging buyers because they weren't really getting the kind of lending that they needed to go and buy the property. But we got through it, though. We got through our first 5. But what was my responsibility? Because that's where you guys come into play, right? You came here to learn not about the challenges necessarily, but how do you create opportunity, and how can you do this, and how can you do it on scale? And so then, just to give you guys a quick preview, we've done this now on many projects, like up to about 50 projects, basically. So 5 of them was with a construction partner. Now I've decided to take on the responsibility for construction management since then for my projects, generally speaking, although I've done a couple here and there with people that have construction experience that want to take on the project and run the project. But generally speaking, we take on the property ourselves, and that's just kind of we've evolved that way. All right. Going back to the first five, though. So remember, there's one individual, say his name is John. It's not John, but let's just keep him anonymous for now. John has the construction experience, and then Bob is the actual investor. Now check this out. I want you to write this down, okay? If you're a wholesaler or you're looking to do wholesale right now, you have an unfair advantage. What do I mean? If you have deals, if you're talking to sellers, you need to write that down and know that you have an asset which is bringing together that deal flow to another investor that wants that deal flow. You already know that because you're already selling or trying to sell that deal that you got or those deals that you get. If you haven't yet gotten a deal, but you know how to source deals, you know how to find opportunities, you know how to negotiate and put together contracts on property, you're already way in, foot in the door with this process, okay? So we had that. We had deal flow and we had networks. That's the other part of it. Write down the word networks or network. With that same network that I defined as my quote unquote cash buyers, right? My cash buyers were people that I thought as a wholesaler were just gonna buy these deals. They're going to be the ones taking over the contract, taking on the property, doing the work, and they're just going to pay me a fee up front, and then they're going to be on their way and they do their own thing, and then I'm out of the picture. Fine, okay. That's option one. That's just a wholesale flip. But I said, wait a second, this guy John, he comes to me, not John, it's not the same John, it's an anonymous name, just to make sure we're all on the same page here. This guy John, hypothetical John, okay, he comes in, we had that meeting, he's like, listen, don't just wholesale it. He's like, why don't you just get into fix and flip and we'll do it together? He's like, I just need you to bring me the deals. And then when you bring me the deals, you could earn money for bringing the deal and you could earn money for bringing value otherwise, like bringing capital. So I said, okay, that sounds interesting. Let's see. Now I get the experience, right? The experience is tremendous. The money is great, but getting the experience to be able to participate on these projects just boosted my ability to do this on my own. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize how valuable it was to have experience, right? Are you guys with me? Are you guys still listening? I want to make sure I'm not seeing comments flowing. I'm going to take a quick drink of water here. You guys... Does anybody want experience? Write the word experience if you want experience. I see JR saying he's got the approach on the subject to deals, bring a partner who has more experience. So he gets it. I'm sure JR gets it. And Chris is there. He said, boom. Alicia says, done for you, done for me. And then, let's see. Jerry says, VA, flicks and flip, hold, always about money, like the idea, no money down. Alice says experience. You want experience, right? And you're there. I see you there, Gail. Gail, I hit you up on Messenger a little bit ago, just a heads up. You might not have seen it, but we got to get connected. I think we were trying to talk maybe a couple weeks ago, just a heads up on that. Dana wants some experience. Brian needs some experience. Joe, okay. Is my volume still good? I think it's okay. I want to make sure this volume is okay for everybody. You're not hearing too much static, hopefully, and hopefully it's loud and clear. Are you guys good? Because it's going to get fun now. We're going to talk about the next step. I see Christine there. What's going on, Christine? And you guys are hearing me okay? I want to make sure everything's good. Excellent. So if you want experience, then this is what you need. And Liana has experience. I know that. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that when we get to working together, which is not too far away here next week. Excellent. So how do you take somebody that already has an experience that maybe you want to have and leverage that experience into your deal? In this case, I had construction as a desire. Why do I have that? Because I want to do my own fix and flips. I want to get this to be my business and own it, right? Like I want to be a fix and flip investor and make the 30, 40, 50, 100 grand my company can make on these individual projects, but I don't have any experience yet. Doug in 2015 had no experience fixing up houses and selling them. But what did I have though? I want you guys to write this down. Haves and then needs or wants, right? Haves is on one side and then needs or wants on the other side. And I just came out of a real estate exchange meeting, which I love. It's down here in Sarasota. It's every Friday. They're awesome people. They're old timers. There's new timers. There's all kinds of great experience in that room, but they always talk about haves and wants. And I can't emphasize this enough, man. Oh, man. If you don't take inventory of what you have, it's going to be very difficult for you to get what you want. I'll say that one more time. If you don't take inventory of what you have, it will be difficult for you to get what you want. If you just want, but you don't have anything to offer, it will be difficult for you to get what you want. Isn't that a life principle? Right? Like if I want to get something, I got to give something maybe too, don't I? Like I got to give or offer up some value, right? I'm here to offer value to you all, right? I'm here to do more business with you all. I'm here to learn from you and participate with you in this conversation as well, not just for myself, but for you guys. I'm here to expand my reach, expand my network. I'm here to give first though. I give, and then I know that in time, value will be given back, right? So here's the point. With construction and experience and fix and flip, you have to understand if you want to break into that business, you have to find out what you have, and then you know what you want is going to be fix and flip. But what don't you have, though? I want you to write down the words I don't have, and therefore I probably want, okay, or I want, period, experience, for example. I need construction experience. I need renovation or fix and flip experience. You know, we see those TV shows that talk about how you make money in like 30 minutes. They show you how you make 50, 100 grand. And it's like snap, snap, snap. The next thing you know, they're making money. They're like high-fiving, and they don't even talk about all the costs, but that's a different story. They don't talk about carry costs, closing costs, selling costs. It's just a gross profit. But at the end of the day, right, it's a show. So let's just be real. But you know what those people have that are on those shows? They have a lot of experience. They have a lot of experience. And so that's why they get a TV show, because they're experienced, typically, right? Unless it's like made up, which there's not too many that are made up. There's actually real people that do these deals. But at the end of the day, I want to find somebody that has the experience that I desire to have. I want to find somebody. I want to find who has that experience. This guy, John, in my anonymous name, and that's even a word. He's anonymous, right? Okay, whatever. John had the experience. John was ready to offer his experience in exchange for what? John needed deals. John needed capital. Right? If you guys don't know by now, go to the website when you have some time, not major to do it right now. Please don't get distracted. The word partner.jdlventures.com, partner.jdlventures.com. If anyone from my team or someone that knows how to can type that out, that'd be awesome to have people just have a link so they can check that out. But that is a place where we can exchange different things, experience, deal flow, capital, construction, whatever. Related services, right? If you want to find a way to collaborate with us, partner.jdlventures.com. That has a means for you to set up a conversation with my office to talk about that. And maybe you don't know yet. Maybe you're not sure what you have. That's okay. Just put, I don't know. But I want this other thing. That's also okay. All right. But the fact is, take inventory of what you have because it's going to help you get what you want. So in this case, I had deal flow. I had connections. This individual, John, didn't have the deal flow as much as he needed, and he didn't have the connections. He was newer, but he wasn't newer in construction. He was just newer in the business of fixing and flipping. Thank you guys for posting that. I appreciate that. All right. So what did I do? I said, okay, I'm all ears. I said, okay, so you're telling me, John, that what you need me to do is you need me to bring you deals, and then you need me to help you get capital sorted out so we can take on a loan with maybe a private money lender, hard money lender, and then you're going to run construction 100%. I'm not having to deal with any of the day-to-day operation, right? Yep. Great. Our first deal, we did just that. We formed a partnership. I remember being in my office in Somerville, New Jersey, one of my first offices we ever had. We had another office in Hillsborough. We have an office down here in Sarasota. We had an office in Flemington, New Jersey. We had offices at different places. Well, you can check it out. So now I'm in the office and we're signing paperwork for the operating agreement for this particular partnership. My first fix and flip, you know, it's like a catchy tune. My first fix and flip or something, you know. But the fact is, it was an equity partnership, right? Meaning that there wasn't any debt. So what did that do? It allowed us to make more money because there wasn't any interest to pay, but the investor wanted to get a certain percentage. So we negotiated those percentages. You could do 30, 30, 30, or 33, 33, 33, I mean, or you could do 50, 50. You could do 75, 25. You could do whatever you decide is good between the three of you or two of you, but that's a type of partnership. Now, the next iteration, the next deal we did, I said, wait a second, we're leaving. I talked to John. I said, listen, you're going to run construction. Yeah, that's great. Why don't we get a little more optimized on the capital side of things? Because you got this great model. You can run like 5 or 10 projects at a time because of your experience. I get enough deal flow in these areas. You're comfortable working in those areas. Let's go borrow, as in get a loan for the majority of the funds, and let's go raise the other part of it for the part that we need, or let's just get 100% as a loan. Does anybody want 100% financing for your deals? Who out there right now wants to get 100% private money financing for your deal or for your deals? Just tell me. Just write 100% in the chat. If you don't write 100%, I'm surprised you're sitting here right now listening to me. Just to put it out there. But it's okay. You don't have to participate. You can just listen, I guess. 100%. 100% private money. You know how you get 100% private money? Real simple, but not easy. Develop relationships. Develop relationships. Okay, Doug, what kind of relationships? What are you talking about? Find people that are already buying property. Find people that already exist in your quote-unquote cash buyer list And check this out. And I can help you do this. This is part of a DFY scenario if you want it to be. We could talk about that again. Tell me DFY if you want us to help you do this, and tell us in the chat or tell us in the message. I could build the system to help you do this and do it religiously, as in it's done for you by a system to source capital through your network, of which will be created by either you or somebody else, or a system or combination thereof. Like we did, we had a system at this point in this part of my journey. I had probably about 1,000 contacts, 1,000 people roughly that wanted to do real estate deals. And you know what? About maybe 10 to 20, maybe 30% max were actually closing business in this time of my journey back in 2015. And what I realized was, wait a second, all these people, they actually want to buy real estate. And why do they want to buy real estate? Because they've either done it before or they're looking to do it. And wait a second, if they want to do real estate investment, they must have either capital themselves or they have access to capital. So maybe if I have the question or conversation like, would you want to work together on a deal and joint venture or partner? Maybe, just maybe, they would say, yeah, you know what, let's talk about that. So what do you think I did? Meanwhile, we had sent about 20 or 25 wholesale deals out the door over and closed them. And I'm like, okay, so there's people that know me that have seen my conversations on email and text message and phone calls and people in my office. So wait a second, we already have people that we know are buying deals. So I said, well, let's just put out an email and say, look, we got an opportunity to buy a bunch of property, and I have a partner who's super experienced in construction, and he wants to buy a bunch of property with us. Would you at all want to participate and buy some properties together? And what do you think happened? Just like that email I sent out when I was in the middle of Pennsylvania with my brother-in-law's house about the first wholesale deal that I talked about last week, I sent the same kind of email out, except in this case, I wasn't looking to sell the wholesale deal. I was looking to find a partner, a capital partner. So I want you guys to write that down as well. Find my capital partner. And you know what I did? Multiple people reached out to me, and multiple people wanted that opportunity. They said, wait a second, so you're getting deals and you have construction and all I have to do is bring the money? I'm in. And then what do you think I did next? Well, let's figure out. It's supply and demand. So I said, well, I have one deal and there's 10 people that want to do that one deal. Wait a second. Whose favor is that in? I want you guys to write the word me. If you think it's you, and it will be you, then write the word me in the comments, right? If you think that is the person that has the deal and has the construction partner, the power is in your hands, put me. If you think it's somebody else, if you think it's the investor, then put them. And I'm going to challenge you that I'll give you the answer. It's got to be the word me, okay? Because you have the deal, which is scarce in supply, and you have the construction, which is also hard to find good people to do construction, is it not? Anyone that's done construction knows what I'm talking about. If you have both the deal and the construction, the money will follow, it will fund, it will come. It's going to be there, all right? It's there already. You don't know it yet, but you have to build the network to get the money to go do it. So what do you think we did? Well, we said, wait a second, there's only one deal. So now, new problem. 10 people want to do the deal, only one spot to fund the deal. I'm not taking on 10 partners. I'm not taking on all this extra money. I don't need extra money. I just want to do just one deal. I said, okay, what's the most expensive type of structure? It's going to blow your mind in a second, but it's true. As the owner of a property, the most expensive structure to fund a deal is an equity partnership. The most expensive structure to you as an owner is an equity partnership. What do I mean? I mean that if you take on a partner, guys, and gals, this is so important. If you take on a partner, you're giving away a piece of the profit, right? Profit is expensive, and as in giving it away is expensive. What you all want to do is get as little cost of capital as possible. Why do you think people leverage private money from like funds, like where I used to be working, where Real Direct Lending now sends business is to multiple funds? Because capital in an aggregate level is less expensive than partnership when you take on a loan. But here's the risk. Taking on a loan has an obligation that must be paid back no matter what. There's no obligation for the lender to have to deal with the loss or not as good of a gain on the property. The lender has a position of control. So if you want to take on that risk, and if you know how to, and you have a partner that can take it on with you like I did, that is less expensive than equity. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, it doesn't make sense. I have a training. I need you guys to do me the favor, and we'll follow up with you separately, myself or my staff. Write the word funding. Funding. If you want to check out the training for funding, I think it might even be in this group in the guides. If you go back to the funding training that I did in the Dealmaker Challenge a few months ago, I talk about the structures of equity and debt and the hybrid model of funding a deal. So if you missed that, go back to the guides or ask us and just put the word funding and we'll help you understand that. So 10 people, one deal, one guy, the contractor, and the construction guy. How do we do this? Now we got 3 deals under contract, or 4, whatever. It was actually 5 total that we were doing. So we had 3 under contract at the same time with 10 people that wanted to fund these deals in some way. Okay. I put out a message saying, listen, and this is the facts. Like we were overwhelmed with interest for these deals and this opportunity. We'd like to have conversations with anyone that's looking to make this a loan type of structure. And I might have done this in one-to-one conversations as well. I had phone calls. I had to get on the phone. I also put out a message saying, hey, if you're interested in lending on this deal and get a first position mortgage on this deal, then let's have a conversation. If you're looking for an equity deal, this is not the deal. These aren't the deals for you. And that's in private conversation after people have already raised their hand, said, I want to participate with you. I know about the opportunity, and we're not talking about raising money into syndication. We're not soliciting the public. This is not an SEC filing. We're not raising capital for syndications here. We're talking about individual deals to fund in a first position loan or into a private position as an equity partner. Those are the only 2 structures that we've ever done. First position loan and or equity partner, which is another structure. We'll talk about the combination thereof. All right. The first position loan, people said, okay, I had one guy come out of the woodwork. Let's call him James. James, his name was not James again because I don't have his permission. James came out and said, I'll fund 100% of the deal. I said, okay, that sounds pretty good. You don't need to fund like 80 or 90 like everybody else says they want to do 80 to 90% of these funds I'm talking to. You'll do 100%. He's like, yes. Here's the only gotcha. Well, actually, let me make first off. He said, I'll fund 100% of the deal, and the way it works is like this. You guys get all the money. You get the rehab on a draw basis, but I'll give you the starting point. You get some capital up front to start. I'll give you 15, 20, 30,000 bucks to start the project, get the construction going. The rest of it's on a draw basis, meaning when you need money, I'll send it over to you for the rest of the construction. At the end of it, you pay me back the full amount that we set up the loan for. It's all on a paperwork. It's a business loan. It's a mortgage. Here's the best part, though. He goes, you don't have to pay the interest until you sell the property. I'll say that one more time. You don't have to pay, he said to us, you don't have to pay the interest until you sell the property. I said, well, wait a second. That's a beautiful thing because most lenders require you to pay interest every month. That's the process, right? It's called interest in arrears, or some lenders will do what's called interest escrow, which is where the loan itself will actually fund the loan payments. So I said, okay, that sounds great. What's the gotcha? He goes, well, the gotcha is that it's going to cost you 16% per year and 2 points up front. I said, so, well, you said that we're not paying you interest. He's like, well, I'll just roll that into the payoff. I said, okay, so you're saying that if we use the money for, let's say, 6 months, it's going to cost us 16% per year, so that's 8% and 2 points. So we're paying you back 10% to use the money for 6 months, right? He goes, yes. I said, okay, I'm in. Is this guy in? My partner, John? Yeah, he's in. Okay, great. Beautiful. We didn't have to go anywhere else. But that was after 5, 10, 15 phone calls and having conversations, figuring out, okay, these folks are interested. Are they actually interested, and does it match up to our preference? That's the qualification process. Another part of our done-for-you process. If you want to do this on the funding side, we can help you with that. Okay. So fast forward, we did the 5 deals. We made money. He got paid his money back. That gentleman went on to do more deals with John. John and James ended up becoming business partners and different things, and it's all great. And I didn't have to be a part of it. That's okay. But I had 5 opportunities to get my start. You know what I did next? I graduated myself, and I said, if I can do it this way, now I know construction. I have experience. I have LLCs that I own and operating agreements, and I'm a partner. Guess what? Now I'm going to go get the money myself and run the construction myself. My 6th project was on my own in a place called Somerville, New Jersey, which is a town over from where I lived. And I went to Somerville High School, so I knew the area. And we did our first project using the same capital partner, the funding guy, James, that he gave 100%. He funded my deal, my first solo project. I thank him so much to this day for giving me my start. Fast forward another 40 plus projects and hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars of real estate, millions of dollars in profit from that experience, from those first 5 and then the 6th one out on my own. So that's a very high level explanation, but hopefully detailed enough for you to take action. Do what? Build a network, have conversations. I just put up a post on my personal profile of, it's like this: traffic, right? Traffic to your profile, traffic to your website, getting people to see what you're doing, generating leads, having conversations, and ultimately then things can close. If you don't have traffic, leads, or conversations, it's next to impossible to close because there's nobody you're talking to. So if you need help with the TLC, which is traffic, leads, and conversations, let's have a conversation. That's a DFY comment, right? If you need help getting traffic, leads, Conversations, type, again, DFY. DFY is the done for you system. All right. How do you make repairs on the fix and flip? I told you there's a training about that, but I'm going to tell you it's like this. The 3 things we need to focus on: scope, time, and budget. Scope, time, and budget. If you as an owner or as someone running a construction project don't have an understanding of the scope, the time, and the budget, then you shouldn't be doing the project. If you don't have the scope, the time, the budget figured out before you buy the property, you should not be buying the property. A lot more to that, but that's in a nutshell what it is. I'm going to give you guys some additional value. I gave you the crux of it. The 100% financing strategy, I think, is what a lot of people came here for. Am I right or am I wrong? If you need that information, again, about the 100%, and then talking about the different factors of how funding works, again, put the word funding into the chat or the comments, and we'll get that over to you. You just go to the guides and probably find it as well. Apps and technology that we've used to close deals virtually and how I manage. Oh, by the way, this is a very important by the way. Those 5 properties that we renovated, I stepped into those properties maybe 4 times each, if that, maybe twice. Only because I wanted to show responsibility that I was affiliated to the project and that I was going to be around. But my business partners, the 2 other guys, one guy was really a partner, the other one was a lender. They were the ones that dealt with every day to day because I didn't have to do the work. So this is a passive income stream. How about that? How about getting passive income on an active project? That's pretty cool. And so you could do this from afar. You could do this virtually. I'll probably talk about it either next week or sometime soon about how I got my start in Florida fixing and flipping from New Jersey. Many don't know that I moved to Florida, but I already had been starting to do business in Florida before I moved from New Jersey to Florida. And it's because of connections that I leveraged and the experience that I just told you, but doing that across states, that I was able to leverage to do that successfully. Apps and technology, right? So apps and technology. Number 1, runyournumbers.com. Runyournumbers.com. If someone from my office, Joe or somebody else, can put in runyournumbers.com as a must, you have to have this tool. It's free. There's a paid option. It's not my tool. We use it. We're a customer of it. Okay. We pay money to this group. There's a promo code if you want to get the paid version. It's best deal, BESTDEAL, best deal. Gets you 20% off of runyournumbers.com. All right. And you can check it out. I just did it this morning in a meeting. I showed a gentleman sitting next to me how his deal either makes sense or doesn't. He has to decide for himself, but I showed him the numbers in about 5 minutes. Right. The next tool you want to think about if you want to communicate with people is going to be some kind of email marketing tool. We happen to use MailChimp. MailChimp is just an email marketing management tool. You have a list of people you want to send a message to. You need to go out and get a message sent out. You want to create drip sequences, autoresponders, all that stuff to get these conversations to happen. MailChimp is a great option. We can help you set that up as part of our DFY system, okay? As far as everything else, the systems to run construction, I just gave you the best one in my opinion, which is actually an individual that does construction, okay? Thank you, Deborah. I appreciate you posting that for us. And Deborah does not work with us. I don't think she does. Maybe she wants to or works. I don't know, Deborah. What do you appreciate you. You're like putting up stuff before my team can get it there. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. So, at the end of the day, that's given though. Like she's given to the group. You guys give her a quick kudos for that. Show her some love. Like that comment. Show her some love for that. Appreciate you. See the go-giver mindset, and then she's going to get some extra attention from our office now because of that. Thank you. So the fact is, it just takes a couple little type on the phone, type on the computer, we're done. And then you get a quick shout out. Right. So technology, like I said, this doesn't sound like technology, people, right? But people can replace technology or technology can replace people. So in this case, the best suggestion I have is to find the individual that can run construction for you. That takes out a lot of the headaches that you can trust to run it, which is a whole other story for another day. There's different scenarios there, but virtual deal management or renovation management, there's a tool which is kind of expensive, but I'll put it out there in case somebody here can benefit from it, because there might be somebody here who runs a construction company or has renovations that are not going exactly as planned as they should or whatever. buildertrend.com. Builder Trend is designed for builders and construction people to manage projects with customers, but we've used Builder Trend over the years to run our construction projects with those 3 things, the triple constraint, scope, time, and budget, and we've had investors be able to see the status, put pictures out there. If you want another free tool, that one's paid, another free tool that can benefit you almost as much as Builder Trend can, get a combination between a tool called Asana, A-S-A-N-A, asana.com. That's a project management, task management tool. Asana.com coupled up with a Google Drive or a Dropbox. And now we have a system where I can make a project in Asana.com and I can go ahead and actually connect that to pictures and photos and all different kinds of things in a Google Drive, right? I can put videos up there, status updates, whatever, documents, and I can share that in my Asana workspace. Another tool you could consider using is a tool that we're using very actively right now called Slack, slack.com. Slack is an instant messenger. It's also a voice messenger. It's also a video messenger, and it's all self-contained. There is a free version of it, and there's a paid version of it. I don't know the numbers. You have to check it out. But if you're running a business and you want to run an operation, you want to do it right, and you want to make a little bit of an investment, check out slack.com. It's going to allow you to have collaborative conversations, discussions, posting things and going back and forth. I use it every single day, multiple times a day. Without Slack or something like Slack, we would have a really big challenge working with people from all across the world. We have probably about a dozen and a half virtual assistants working on our businesses at any given time. We have local folks in the United States across multiple markets working on our business, all connected through one tool. Again, something that we can integrate into your DFY. If you want that DFY, if this sounds like it's making sense, just put in the letters DFY, and we'll get in touch about that. All right. Management of projects, check this out. Communication is key. You have to over-communicate. Investors want to know what's going on. I've experienced it firsthand. Sometimes you don't have an update, but you got to give an update anyways. Hey, there's no update. Hey, there's still no update, but we're making progress. Hey, there's an update now. Check the system. Here's the update, right? But having communication is super important. I've had challenges with communication at times because there's nothing to update you on. But at the end of the day, I take responsibility. I have to be a man of my word and then keep my integrity and step up and tell them, hey, listen, here's where we're at. Here's the trouble we're having. The contractor's slow. The township is delayed. The project's slacking. Whatever's going on. Here's where we're at. Here's the plan to solve it. And we're going to go get it done. And they like that. People that are working with you as an investor or as a lender want to hear that. Contractors need to be communicated to get them to, whippersnapper, I think with someone, or crack the whip or whatever they say. You got to get them going. Sometimes they go slow, because they sometimes get paid by the hour. Let's be honest, right? If somebody's getting paid by the hour, sometimes they're not as efficient. Their sense of urgency is not as high. That's across any business. It's not like a secret. If someone is incentivized to go faster, hint, hint, incentivize your contractors by getting them to get the project delivered faster. They'll get an additional bonus performance incentive to finish the project. They'll get more money, because check this out. Time is not just money. Time is everything. Right? I heard that first from my buddy John up there in New Jersey, NJRESN. Quick shout out to John Steingraber, who's got a show now on A&E called The 24-Hour Flip. Follow that guy. Him and his wife are doing amazing things in real estate. They run one of the largest real estate brokerages in New Jersey called Signature Realty. Awesome people. Awesome influencers. Awesome givers. They just give. I had my first real estate meeting at his event, NJRESN. I was invited by my friend Cheryl. Thank you to Cheryl. I think Cheryl's in Florida. Cheryl, I wish we can connect if you hear this message, if ever you hear this. It's been a long time, but she invited me to that meeting. And next thing you know, now my business has gone on, thank God, because of all the things that have happened, all the steps that have been, all the decisions that were made. Now it's my life. It's my livelihood, right? It provides for my family, my kids. So thank you guys. Thank you, John, for doing what you do. Thank you for everybody out there inviting people to go get information. Thank you for being here, all you listening to this. This is going to help you in some way in the future. You don't know maybe how yet, but it will. God willing. Okay. So, how to structure your deals so that everybody can profit and come out happy. Well, the fact is, people have different preferences, right? People have different preferences. So, some people want to have a set return. They want to have the capital back. They want to have a set return. Some people are willing to take that ride and that risk with you for a better return. And some people want a little bit of both. So, you have to figure out what is the best deal structure. Is a private loan better? Is a partnership with a contractor better? Or is it just a hire the contractor? Is it going to be where I have an equity partner? Maybe they're bringing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Is it going to take time off my plate to have to worry about this project? Is it going to get done faster? Am I going to have to give that incentive, or is that incentive an equity ownership or profit share? Maybe I give my contractor partner an incentive like a profit share. Why not give them a little kick at the end? Hey, you did a great job. We made this much money. Here's an extra bonus for you. Right? I'm sure they'll like that. So, pulling this all together, right? And Paola says she's looking for capital partners to expand. Have a conversation with her, right? I know who she is, but you want to make sure that her deals make sense for what you're looking for. And she may have something that's of value, but you won't know until you have a conversation, right? Converse, have a conversation. You need to talk to, I said that before, contractors, conversations, investors, conversations, deal flow, wholesalers, agents, conversations. You want to get more conversations? Hey, we can help you. Do you know right now we're having hundreds of conversations on social media every day? Hundreds, to build the business, to scale into multiple markets, to grow multiple verticals in our companies. Hundreds. Can you have hundreds of conversations? I think you can, but you need a little bit of a process and a team, don't you think? Maybe a system. That's another DFY comment if you need that, okay? When you get to hundreds of conversations, what's hundreds of conversations better lead to some kind of result. Either good, bad, or indifferent. It's going to lead to something, right? It's going to get something. So whether you should be focused on this is like a very good question. We get it a lot, right? Inside of our private coaching group, we get it across this platform. It's the free community. We get it in person at people. We hear stories. You all probably hear different things, different perspectives, different opinions. Hey, what do you think about the market? That's the number one question I'm hearing, right? I love that one. Or, hey, should I do fix and flip or should you buy and hold? Man, that's a loaded question. Here's the pros and the cons, right? Yes, we know fix and flip can produce major paydays, but you know what? There's also major risk with construction and with the market in certain cases, right? In certain cases, because you have to understand your micro market, your local market. Markets are different. New Jersey is different than Florida. Southwest Florida is different than Northeast Florida and Northwest Florida. And North Jersey is way different than South Jersey. I know because I know people in both places. And sometimes property values in North Jersey could be 4 or 5 times the same house in South Jersey, or vice versa. It could be some really beautiful place, and there's just different things going on. So it just depends. So if you're fixing and flipping, there's 2 things you have to get really clear on. Where are the 2 most risky parts of a fix and flip? It's actually in the words. Think about that. What is the fix? The fix is the construction. It's the renovation. It's the building. It's the working on the property. That is a major amount of risk, especially if you're not a contractor. So be very, very careful. If you don't know about that stuff, you could lose a lot of money and just waste time. The second major risk area in a fix and flip is the flip. Right. Now, why is that? Well, uncertainty. People don't know if they can get a mortgage at a low enough rate to be able to afford the house that you just did amazing to renovate. It looks the most beautiful house that's hit the market in that market, but nobody's able to buy it because they can't get a mortgage. There's too much supply in the market. At some point, that's going to be the case. It's not the case in most markets, but there will be a point where there's too much renovated property on the market. Now you have competition. Well, if people can choose, they may not choose yours. As beautiful as your house is, they may not choose it because there's a better one that they like better. They like the way it lays out better. They like the way it smells inside. They like the way the furniture looks because you put staging or whatever. You know, there's some ways to optimize that though, right? There's ways to influence decisions. Check it out. 2 people you have to know, no matter what. A really good contractor that you might get from a referral. Tom's one of those guys up in New Jersey. Shout out to Tom Angelucci. You want to talk to somebody who knows construction, talk to Tom. Tom, if he can't do it, he probably knows somebody that can. I know that because I know Tom for a while. The second person, and I can't see anybody on my screen right now that is one of these, but anybody here that's a real estate agent that's actually doing deals, with all due respect, to closing business on renovated homes, you need to raise your hand and say, I'm a real estate agent, and I'm here to help you sell your house for top dollar because I've actually done it before, and I do it every day or every month or every quarter. I have this many closings, and I can close deals. I have retail buyers looking to buy and pay top dollar, and I actually show it by doing it. Those 2 contacts, a contractor that's excellent and a real estate agent that's excellent. We have a project right now in New Jersey that has both of those resources, a contractor that's excellent and a real estate agent that's excellent. And we have funding available for it. We just need a little bit of capital to restructure the private money side. And if you guys have interest in that deal, again, let's have a conversation. That's a good one to go to partner.jdlventures.com and have a conversation. We have a team already set up in that project. We just need a little bit of capital to usher it down the line, push it down the line to finish that project in the next 8 to 9 months. So then we go to buy and hold. And we're wrapping this up, guys. We got a late start, so we got a few minutes past 2. I hope that's okay. Are you guys okay with that? Is everybody cool for a few more minutes? I want us to kind of pause and get a quick more sip of water. Are you guys good with this? If you're not good, I guess you would have probably dropped off the live already, so I shouldn't even ask the question. It's kind of like it's a kind of weird thing, like one-way communication. We might make this a Zoom at some point, who knows? So I can actually see you guys and talk to you guys and have more fun. But right now, it's just like Doug's pushing out like a TV or something like that, you know what I mean, to the whole 3,500 people in the room. So that's awesome. I love it, but I love having conversations too. So you guys I'm watching my comment feed over here and trying to monitor that. So thank you guys for being participative. Excellent. I hope you guys are getting what you came for. Can you just let me know that you're getting what you came for? Because that's really important to me, that I'm hitting the mark. Because if I'm not hitting the mark, that's something I'm going to fix next week. I'll make sure I hit the mark for you all. If you got some value today, just let me know. Put the word value or that I'm hitting the mark. Let me know that. Let us know that so we can refine the process for next week and make it even better. As you're doing that, though, listen to this. Buy and hold, right? Buy and hold. Rental real estate has produced more multimillionaires and probably billionaires that own property all across the world than anything else that exists. Maybe insurance. Someone that has insurance background would probably fight that. But I'm telling you right now that if you want a reliable thing that doesn't require to get a license, that doesn't require you to build a book of business to then ultimately either exit and sell like an insurance would, an insurance company, you need to think about rental real estate. Why? Create wealth. What's wealth come from? Wealth comes from owning something for a period of time, and that something gets to be more valuable. Therefore, I create what's called equity. Equity, right? We know that equity is on our balance sheet. When something is worth more than what's owed on it, I have equity. If you buy rental real estate with no or low debt, as in zero LTV or low LTV, loan to value, you have equity. That equity can be leveraged. It could be borrowed against if needed. I know friends of mine down here in Florida that have multi-million dollar portfolios that leverage their free and clear homes to go do more deals. That go and do fix and flips by taking the equity out of one house, borrowing against it on a HELOC or some other type of loan product, and go out there and do a fix and flip and then recycle the money, put it back and add more to it. Do it tax-free out of a self-directed IRA. Man, how about that one? How about you buy some rental real estate with your SDIRA, self-directed IRA? Maybe we're going to get somebody who's a self-directed IRA expert to come in and talk to us at some point in the future. If that's something you guys want, let me know. SDIRA. If you guys want to know more about that, just put the letters SDIRA and we'll get to going on getting somebody as a guest maybe sometime soon. But check this out. Buy and hold, equity gets created, right? Equity creates wealth. Wealth can be passed on to generations. Rental real estate creates wealth. Fix and flips, I hate to say it, with all due respect to everybody out there fixing and flipping, like I've done a bunch too, but I get it, we're in this together. It doesn't create wealth. Why do you think I haven't bought a fix and flip project in the past 2+ years? Not just because I can't buy good deals, because I'm focusing on building my rental portfolio, and I'm looking to go big or go home. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like buying property that's multi-million dollar type property, participating in syndications potentially, my own capital or my self-directed IRA capital to go into multifamily like I did a few years back in a 28-unit deal that I did with somebody else. I put money for my self-directed IRA, only a little bit of money. But you know what? In 3 years, shout out to that gentleman. He knows who he is. And if you guys want a connection, I got plenty of those for you as well. In 3 years, which was 2 years ahead of the timeline, we doubled our investment, which is pretty good for not doing anything. And I got the money back, and now my self-directed IRA has more money to go out and invest again into something else. So that's what's possible with wealth creation through real estate. Now that, to be fair, that particular property was a value add rental property. So I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to point you guys to a couple things, and we can have a follow-up discussion some other time. Value add rental real estate. Those words you all need to write down, like, and make sure you circle it, bold it, do whatever you need to do to make sure it does not, you don't lose sight over it, okay? Value add rental real estate. I'll say it one more time. Value add rental real estate. If you want to do some research on this, go to biggerpockets.com if you want to have some fun and get somebody else to validate what I'm talking about. And look up the guy, Brandon Turner. I don't know Brandon personally, but he's out there. He runs Bigger Pockets. He's been doing this for a long time. I believe he's the gentleman that coined the term, according to my sources, the BRRRR, the buy, renovate, rent, refi. Buy, renovate, rent, refi. We have a training about this. If you want that training, which is free, send a message here. We have a lot of follow-up to do with you all. I hope that's awesome. That's exciting. We have conversations. BRRRR, buy, renovate, rent, refi. It's BRRR. Type in the letters capital B, capital R, capital R, capital R. I will share with you the free training I did not that long ago about the BRRRR process. Why is that important? Because if you understand the power of buying rental real estate that's value add using 100% of someone else's capital that you can acquire and then refinance, pay back everybody, and own the property with $0 out of pocket. Let that set in for a second. 20 to 30% equity with 0% out of your pocket. $0, and you own 20 to 30% equity, and your tenants that you have in that property pay the mortgage payment every month, and they pay more than that, which makes cash flow happen, which means now not only do I have $0 out of pocket, I have 20 to 30% ownership equity with $0 out of pocket, with no partners involved. Potentially could have partners, but 0 partners involved. And I have cash flow that's surplus money every single month, paying me like clockwork, $200, $300, $400 a month per door, per single door, per house, per building unit. There's friends of mine that I grew up with in New Jersey that are also real estate investors, and I can introduce you to some of them if you'd like. Some of them have other businesses now too, but they're also BRRRR property investors, and I've worked with them on things. One in particular who may be listening to this message either now or later, I know for a fact that he bought properties using lines of credit and business loans and private money with $0 out of his pocket, and he's built a multi-million dollar portfolio, and he's probably got, I don't know how much cash flow, but I remember his target way back when I first met the guy, I think he told me this, was making $1,000 of cash flow per property. And he has more than a handful of properties, like we're talking about dozens and dozens of properties. So how about you have $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 of cash flow, overflow, as my friend David says, putting in your pocket, plus who God knows how much equity. And he did this in some of the toughest markets in New Jersey, like Newark and East Orange, for example, where I haven't had the best experiences, to be totally candid. Nothing against the people that live there, nothing against the cities or the towns, but I just can't get business done in East Orange these days, and I haven't been able to for the past almost decade. It's really tough to work in East Orange, New Jersey. Quick, just putting it out there for anybody who might hear the message. But this gentleman, he knows his markets. He knows the streets. You know what he got really good at? He got really good at sourcing deals and analyzing deals, and he found capital sources that were also pretty cool. He combined the two things, and you know what he did? He did what I talked about today, but did it with properties to keep as rentals. And he's got to become a multimillionaire because of that. And now he has a successful business, not even in real estate in addition to that. So he's doing amazing things, and he's a humble dude. He's a friend of mine. He was at my family's hair salon the other day, I was found out. So maybe if he's listening, he knows what I'm talking about. Pretty cool guy. So check this out. How do you get started with all this? How do you get started with all the stuff we're talking about? First thing is, I give you a lot of credit for being here this long. If you've listened to me since any portion of the beginning or even the middle, thank you. Thank you for your time. Your time is more valuable than I could put into words. The investment of your time means more than I could ever tell you. And I thank you for that. I really do. From the bottom of my heart, I'm grateful. Because you could be doing a lot of things right now, but you decided to listen to this guy wearing this black shirt with Investors First title, sitting in an office down here in Florida, and you're sitting wherever you're sitting, hoping and praying that you're going to get some value from today. And I hope I over-delivered. I hope I got you more than you expected. Because I know that my commitment from my heart is to implore you all to do something, to take action, to get out there and make this happen. And I'm here to help you do it if you want me to. So if that sounds like something you want to talk about, let's have a conversation. Hit me up with the word flip in a conversation, in a DM. Just the word flip. You can put BRRRR if you want. You can put whatever keyword you want. But put it into a DM, a conversation. So I know I don't have to go through scrolling, with all due respect, my team's going to help do that. But I'm not going to have to physically go through every single comment. Hit me up on a direct message and say, you know what, Doug? I think you know a little bit of something that you can help me make this happen. Here's what I'm looking to do. Tell me what you're looking to accomplish as an investor. And let's see if I can help add some value to you beyond just this conversation we're having today and every Friday at 1 p.m. We have meetings in our private coaching and mastermind group. Some of you all know this. Jana knows this. I see her on the screen right now. We have meetings almost every day, sometimes a couple times a day. And we just pour value out, and we answer questions, and we deal with situations, we break down deals, and we ultimately support you unlimitedly. Like, we are literally available almost 24/7 because of who we have in our office and how we work together. So if you want that kind of support to get you to the next level, and if you want anything we talked about today as far as the trainings or the resources or the DFY, then just hit me up in a DM. No big deal. There's nothing we're selling you. It's got to be a good fit. It may not even make sense, whatever we offer to help you do what you want to do. But you know what? We're working on something pretty special, and I want you all to know about it today. I'm not going to be able to share the details right now, but you're going to see some content coming out because my team's been working on it. We're launching something we've never done before. And there's a couple things. Right now, there's a DFY thing that kind of came out of a need that I felt, and that's a new thing, but that's not even what I'm talking about. That's a pretty cool thing, but that's something that might not be effective for many of you here just because you're not necessarily ready for that yet. But there's something I know that's going to come out next week, if I'm understanding the schedule of what we're working on here, and my team can tell me if I'm wrong, that's going to be mind-blowing. It's going to be better than anything we've probably done before in terms of the value that it's going to have for many of you who are sitting here right now listening to this message, and it's going to be something that's so easy of a decision because of how it's structured that you're going to be like, of course, that's a no-brainer. If you want that, again, mention that you said, hey, Doug, you know something about that new thing you guys are working on? I'm interested in that. Hit me up in the DM and let me know. You'll be the first one. Literally the first few that tell me this will be the ones to know about it as soon as I have the information that I can share. And then the group's going to know about it right after. And so, with that being said, I'm here. My name is Douglas J. Beck. I'm implored and excited to be here with you all for the past hour and 15 minutes. I thank you for your time. I'm appreciative of your focus and your dedication to your business and for yourself and your family's best interest. And if you want to make this happen, just hit me up with that DM. Let's have a conversation. Until next week, God bless you guys. Have an awesome weekend. I thank you, and I'll have a really good rest of your day. I'll see you next week.